Heya Cryptozens, it's 10 p.m. Pacific time. My name is Nikodemus, and welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter, where we take a nightly look at the crypto, NFT, and metaverse space. And keep in mind, nothing in this show should ever be considered financial advice. It's Saturday, December 10th at 10 p.m. The Securities Exchange Commission is warning public companies that have a stake in the crypto industry to disclose any potential risks to investors. The agency's Division of Corporation Finance advised U.S. public companies that recent bankruptcies and financial distress in the crypto market may have an impact on their business and require disclosure under federal securities laws. A sample letter to these companies asks if their businesses face risks from excessive redemptions or withdrawals of crypto assets. Now, the Division of Corporation Finance is part of the SEC. Specifically, they advise securities issuing companies on how to disclose potential risks to their investors. The SEC's been in a standoff with the crypto industry over whether certain digital assets platforms should be registered as exchanges. SEC Chair Gary Gensler stated that his agency has clearly outlined the rules for crypto companies and that law firms can advise their clients on how to comply. Thursday's document from the SEC warned that the sample questions it would send out are not exhaustive, and companies should evaluate their own specific risks and concerns. The crypto industry has recently faced several failures and bankruptcies, including FTX and multiple lenders. The company's ties to traditional financial institutions are also under examination by bank regulators. Senators Elizabeth Warren and Tina Smith wrote a letter to regulators asking them to look into these ties, citing Moonstone Bank as an example. Now, it seems the SEC itself is facing increasing pressure, and that pressure may be manifesting itself in the sudden hemorrhaging of human talent out from the agency. The acting inspector general of the SEC, Nicholas Padilla, has left the agency after raising issues with staff retention under Chair Gensler. The SEC confirmed that he left in November. It is believed that he reached the statutory maximum of his service. In October, Padilla reported to Chair Gensler on the agency's loss of staff. The report stated that the SEC was facing challenges with retaining staff, particularly due to the pace of rulemaking and the lack of policy communication under Gensler. However, a representative for the SEC said that Padilla's departure was not related to the work of the Office of the Inspector General. Meanwhile, the U.S. Department of Justice is reportedly investigating a potential fraud by Sam Bankman-Fried. This investigation aims to examine SBF's involvement in transferring FTX funds to the Bahamas as the exchange filed for bankruptcy. The DOJ also plans to investigate whether SBF unlawfully transferred FTX funds to Alameda Research. At present, SBF has not yet been charged with any crimes. Not yet. SBF has accused Binance CEO CZ of lying and backing out of a deal that could have saved FTX. CZ said that SBF went unhinged at the exchange pulling out. A failed $100 million deal also allowed Taylor Swift to walk away without any connection to FTX. And the class action lawsuit against SBF and paid celebrity promoters has been dropped. The lead plaintiff's lawyers filed a notice of dismissal with the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida. The initial suit called FTX a house of cards and a Ponzi scheme. The notice filed on Thursday stated that none of the defendants in the case, including Sam Bankman-Fried, had been served with the summons or complaint. The lead plaintiff's lawyer did not comment on whether the matter had been settled out of court. The suit initially sought unspecified damages and a jury trial. Meanwhile, crypto companies Yuga Labs and MoonPay are facing a class action lawsuit for allegedly using celebrities to promote and sell NFTs without disclosing required information. Over 40 people and companies, including Paris Hilton, Justin Bieber, and Madonna, are named as defendants in this lawsuit. The class action was filed on December 8th by Scott & Scott Attorneys at Law, LLP, in the Central District of California. Court documents state, quote, "This case epitomizes these concerns as it involves a vast scheme between a blockchain startup company, Yuga Labs, a highly connected Hollywood talent agent, defendant Gary Gossiri, and a front operation, MoonPay, who all united for the purpose of promoting and selling a suite of digital assets." Now, the executives at Yuga Labs and defendant Osiri are accused of creating a plan to use their network of celebrity clients to promote their NFT collection. This lawsuit claims that the exclusivity of the collection was based on endorsements from celebrities, but these endorsements were allegedly manufactured. That said, it just seems like basic marketing to get celebrities to show your product. And if you can gin up some enthusiasm over exclusivities in these collections, again, that's just basic marketing. At any rate, the two plaintiffs in the case, Adonis Rial and Adam Tichner, bought Yuga Labs NFT collections between April 2021 and present. The lawsuit refers to a previous statement by the SEC about celebrity endorsements, claiming that these endorsements may be unlawful if they did not disclose the compensation paid by the company. Yuga Labs is also being investigated by U.S. regulators for whether certain NFTs are similar to stocks and whether their sale violates federal laws. And the case that they're referring to here is the Kim Kardashian, Floyd Mayweather versus Ethereum Max case. Spoiler alert, it didn't go well for Kardashian, so that may be the same case here. The Securities Commission of the Bahamas is seeking access to FTX's customer database as part of its investigation into the financial frauds committed by SBF. The Bahamian attorneys have filed an emergency motion with a Delaware bankruptcy judge requesting access to the database. The database is stored on Amazon Web Services and Google Cloud Portal. The motion highlights previous failed attempts to access the database and claims that FTX employees and counsel prevented authorities from obtaining financial information. It appears FTX used Google services as an analytics platform for data of users outside the U.S. Meanwhile, AWS was used to store customer information. According to the filing, quote, while the joint provisional liquidators are happy to engage in dialogue with the U.S. debtors, their refusal to promptly restore access has frustrated the ability of the joint provisional liquidators to carry out their duties under Bahamian law and placed FTX digital assets at risk of dissipation. Now, FTX's fraud has had a bit of a domino effect, with the media outlet The Block failing to disclose funding from Alameda Research. As we reported last night, the CEO of The Block, Mike McCaffrey, resigned after failing to disclose $27 million in loans from FTX's sister company, Alameda Research. Additionally, we covered it the other night that FTX's new management team reportedly hired financial forensic investigators to track down the missing customer funds of over $450 million in cryptocurrencies. The forensic firm will conduct asset tracing to identify and recover the missing assets, in addition to the restructuring work being taken by FTX. The financial services agency in Japan has extended FTX Japan's suspension until March 9th. The earlier suspension, issued in November after FTX Japan stopped user withdrawals, was set to end on Friday. The FSA said that it is necessary to take all possible measures to ensure FTX Japan's assets do not go to overseas affiliates and that user interests are not harmed. Japan may be one of the few places where FTX customers can actually get their money back after the collapse of Sam Bankman-Fried's crypto exchange. FTX Japan said that it is continuing with the business improvement plan submitted to the regulator in November, according to a notice on its website. Trading services, deposits, and account opening will remain suspended. The company is working on a plan to return user assets, but has not released any details on when users can expect to get their funds back. The FSA said that it has ordered FTX Japan to return assets promptly, but has not given a specific deadline. The FSA said that it understands that client assets held by FTX Japan are preserved and segregated from the company's own assets. And proving you don't have to be a 30-year-old American to find yourself embroiled in controversy, we have Eva Kaili. Now, Kaili, a key figure in Europe's crypto regulation efforts, oh, and by the way, well, she's been suspended from her party due to her alleged involvement in a corruption scandal involving lobbying for Qatar. Kaili is a member of the Progressive Alliance of Socialists and Democrats, at least for now, because they suspended her, quote, in response to the ongoing investigations. The group released a statement that they were appalled by the allegations of corruption in the European institutions and confirmed Kaylee's suspension from the group with immediate effect. Kaylee's national party in Greece, the Pan-Hellenistic Socialist Movement, also announced that it would expel her, announcing their decision on Twitter. Kaylee recently said that she would be in charge of the European Parliament's efforts to clarify the rules around NFTs and wanted to avoid the controversies of the EU's markets in crypto assets law. She said that she intended to do this by regulating activities rather than individual entities. So it looks like Kaylee's home was raided and she was detained. Reportedly, she was among 4 suspects arrested. Local press reports indicate that the public prosecutor confirmed the raid happened. Now, Kaylee has supported the digital assets industry as Europe establishes rules for the industry ahead of the United States. In an interview last year, Kaylee said, quote, "We're creating new boxes and allowing to keep evolving without feeling that it is a hostile environment." Now, in slightly more positive news out of the EU, European Union Commissioner Mairead McGuinness wants to speed up the vote on new crypto laws. She believes that these laws are more important now in the wake of the FTX collapse. McGuinness said that the regulation of crypto markets is needed to protect client assets in the wider economy. She wrote a letter to the chairman of the European Parliament's Economic and Monetary Affairs Committee and the Czech finance minister. And McGuinness wants that vote on the new crypto laws to take place as soon as possible. She wants the rules to come into force by next spring at the latest. Now, the vote on MiCA was originally scheduled for this month, but that has been pushed back to February because of concerns about the length and complexity of the text. It is possible that the vote could be held in March instead. Now, this is happening because the legislation must be translated into 24 languages before it can be passed. McGuinness believes that passing the new crypto laws will send a clear signal to other countries, such as the US and the UK, who are also considering similar legislation. Officials have said that MiCA would have prevented the alleged proprieties at FTX, but some lawmakers are skeptical about this. Making our way to Britain now, because their Chancellor of the Exchequer, Jeremy Hunt, has released a package of 30 regulatory reforms for the financial services industry. These reforms are intended to boost economic growth post-Brexit. The reforms include issuing a digital pound, experimenting with blockchain technology, and encouraging investment in crypto businesses. The government plans to publish a consultation on establishing a central bank digital currency for the UK. The Treasury and the Bank of England will continue to investigate the digital pound. The investment management exemption will also extend to crypto assets, encouraging overseas investors to bring their funds into the UK's crypto industry. The UK government is committed to launching a financial markets infrastructure sandbox in 2023. This will allow firms to experiment with decentralized technologies in a regulated space. The government is also looking to reform the 1974 Consumer Credit Act to encourage innovation and reduce costs in the consumer protection space. Kazakhstan has made notable changes to their crypto landscape. I say notable, but not popular. Certainly not among the miners. Here's what I mean. The Parliament of Kazakhstan has passed 4 bills relating to cryptocurrency mining and assets. These laws come as a result of the growth of cryptocurrency mining in the country, particularly following the Chinese miner exodus. Cheap electricity has made Kazakhstan an attractive destination for miners, but the government has now introduced hostile measures against the industry. So what happened is 5 bills were introduced in Kazakhstan relating to the electricity purchasing and licensing of cryptocurrency mining equipment. These laws require miners to purchase only surplus electricity from the public grid or through the Core-M exchange. However, not all miners will be able to access this electricity as it will be sold in an auction format. The licensing procedure for miners has also been updated with 2 categories, with the first being digital miners who own the necessary structure to mine their own crypto. The second category of mining licenses in Kazakhstan applies to digital miners who rent space in data processing centers but do not claim an energy quota. Ekaterina Smyshlaeva is a member of the Majlis Committee on Economic Reform and Regional Development. She stated that the bill also introduces separate requirements for mining pools regarding the location of their server capacities in Kazakhstan and compliance with information security rules. Kazakhstan has introduced new cryptocurrency taxes for miners, mining pool commissions, value-added tax, and tax on crypto exchanges as business entities. These laws will impose corporate income tax based on the value of the crypto asset and commission rates for mining pools. The Majlis also is considering a ban on advertising crypto transactions and regulations for cryptocurrency securities. Individuals conducting crypto transactions will also be subject to value-added tax and corporate income tax on crypto exchanges. These developments come after the Majlis approved bills to establish rules for the domestic crypto sector, putting miners and mining pools under the jurisdiction of the Ministry of Digital Development, Innovation, and Aerospace Industry. And our last story comes to us from China, where police in Inner Mongolia have arrested 63 people in relation to a money laundering scheme. This scheme allegedly laundered around $1.7 billion. The investigation started after unusual money flows were detected from a construction company. The authorities discovered an international network that converted funds from illegal activities such as pyramid schemes, fraud, and gambling into virtual currency. The investigation was led by the Public Security Bureau and took place in 17 provinces. One suspect, Zhang Mao, has fled to Bangkok. China banned the use of cryptocurrencies in 2021. Hong Kong has recently introduced a new regulation for cryptocurrency exchanges. And that's going to do it for us tonight. I want to thank you, my listeners, because when you stop listening, I will stop talking. We'll see you tomorrow night.